Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Shirley at Shirley's Threadwork, and this is Shirley's Wind Down Tuesday. Thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it, and I want to give a shout out to everybody that's in YouTube land as well as Facebook land. Thank you for watching me. Come into the chat if you're able to do so. If not, I know most of you will be looking at the replay. So I also want to give a shout out to everybody that watches the replay because I do appreciate that as well, and thank you for your support. So we have a treat tonight. I have two guest speakers that will be on. So if you're watching and not coming into the chat to ask some questions, you're missing out on a lot. So I suggest you just hop on in and join in the conversation. That I'm sure you will be happy that you've done that. So let me say hi to a few people that are already in here. Kingsbury Craft, Jenny, Donzel Cooper. Hi, are you? You are a friend or a follower of Sean, I'm sure, because you said hi to her. She's on here. Robin, and of course, Janette and Visionary Creation. Welcome. Thank you to all of you that are on here now that are new to my channel that I haven't seen your name pop up. Now, you may have watched me. I just haven't seen your name pop up or anything, but I do appreciate the fact that you are here tonight. Hello, Sean. We have two Seans on here. One is going to be a speaker, and one is also a content creator. Sean at Go Savvy Design is on here with us tonight as well. So we are being blessed with people on here that can give you a lot of good information and hop into this conversation tonight. Now, it is, we have another one officially, Camellia. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. I will be going back and forth and saying hi to some of the people, but we are going to get started in just a minute or so with our guest speakers because they are backstage right now waiting for me to bring them on, and I will. Hi, Carol. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. So let me go ahead and introduce the um, guest speakers that I have. If you guys saw my thumbnail and my intro that I put up on Facebook and YouTube, you are aware of the fact that I have been blessed with the opportunity to have a couple of really good, successful content creators, embroiderers, and crafters that have been in the business for a while, and they are here to help answer some questions, provide some information, and just support me. And I do appreciate that. Let me tell you a little bit about the people that are coming on. I did go into their YouTube sites. I wanted to shout out all of their credentials that I have. I'm going to start off first with Sean, All Things Sean. And I'm sure most of you, or all of you, hopefully, are familiar with her site. And she has her content is a mixture of embroidery, heat transfer vinyl, rhinestone, sewing, and sublimation. And her video ranges from tutorials to tips and vlogs. She has new content uploaded weekly, and she has been a member on YouTube since February of 2021. Currently, she has over 3 million views and 349, probably more than that, videos up. And she has over 28,000 subscribers. So she is growing, growing, growing. I started watching her before she even got 10,000 subscribers because I remember her giving a shout out and a hooray and celebration when she hit that 10,000 mark. And she has just grown by leaps and bounds since then because she's doubled all of her subscribers since then, and she's doing extremely well. So she is one of our speakers that I will bring on. And the second speaker, I know a lot of the people that watch me are familiar with her because you watch her as well. And she's a friend of mine, and she's been on here several times. And this is Janette from Baroka Sewing and Crafts. And she has her Friday night Friday night, Janette, you're gonna get me. You're gonna come in here and help me because I'm getting a blank. But I know she's on Friday night at 8 o'clock. I her happy hour. That's what it is. Embroidery happy hour. I couldn't get it out. I said, no, she does. What is the name of it? But anyway, she is Embroidery Happy Hour on Friday night. So we all watch her. So she says, the go-to hub for everything machine embroidery and running a successful embroidery business from home. Whether you're just learning how to use your embroidery machine or you're ready to turn your passion into profit, you'll find step-by-step tutorials, business tips, project ideas, and honest advice to help you grow your skills and your shop. She has been on YouTube with her channel since June of 2017. She has over 615 videos up, over 2 million views, and 21,000 subscribers. So as you can see, I have two very successful people that are on here that are going to share their knowledge with us tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them on so we can get started. They're backstage, and I got to make sure I get my layout correct here. So wait. And there we go. Okay, now we're all on here. Does everybody see three people on your screen? It should be me, Janette, and Sean on here. So everybody, okay. Can everybody hear? Janette and Sean, can you say something so make sure we can hear you?
Can you hear me?
I
I can hear you.
can hear
I
you,
hear you too.
Okay, we're good.
I can hear you, Sean. Good. Okay, everything is fine. If it, okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to go one more thing that I want to say before we get into it. You know, guys, I've been mentioning for the past 2 or 3 weeks about my internet being unstable and all this craziness. And I'm hoping and hoping I've gotten it fixed because I got a new internet company that said that they're specific for content for creators. So I'm hoping this is going to be um, a very good presentation or live stream without all the lagging and craziness that's been going on for a few weeks, because I know it was irritating you because it was definitely getting on my nerves. So I'm hoping this is all going to work out fine tonight. So let's keep our fingers crossed and uh, uh, make sure that this happens correctly. If anybody's having any problems with the feed or anything like that, put a comment in there so I'll know, because right now I'm looking at it and everything seems to be stable. Hopefully it is. So, okay, I've introduced our two speakers, and tonight is going to be week 4 of this series that we've been doing. And we are talking about, let me get my paperwork here straight. We are talking about going from hobbyist to shop owner, building your confidence to sell your work. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that I was able to reach out to people that are doing exactly what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and open it up one at a time. Since Sean hasn't been on before, I'll let her go first. And if you don't mind, just tell a little bit about yourself, whatever you're comfortable sharing, how you got started, what motivated you, and then we're gonna let Janette do the same thing. Then I'm gonna open it up for questions and anybody that want to ask questions, and we'll all do the best we can to answer. So I'm gonna let you go first, Sean.
Of course, you would make the introvert go first, but
You could not be an introvert because I see you on here all the time. I can see you
I'm
with your
cool
little
with
tip.
all y'all. But I'm really an introvert.
Are you really?
But
I've watched you when you're going to California shopping and doing all of that kind of stuff. So you be posting, girl. I be watching.
I try to stay consistent as I can, especially with YouTube. But I'm Sean. For those that don't know, I go by All Things Sean. And hey, everybody that's watching from my channel, thanks for joining in the live, and thanks to everyone's watching from Janette and Shirley's channels as well. So a little bit about me, I would say started sewing in 2012. Really wasn't thinking of it as a craft, just something to do because I recently relocated from the Midwest out west, and went on Craigslist at that time, found a sewing machine at a local pawn shop, went and got it for $100, which is this finger stylus back here, and started sewing. I started by deconstructing my own clothes or upcycling my own clothes, which I still love doing today. And then found a couple other YouTubers that were doing similar things and started following them. Then I would say fast forward to about 2018 is when I got into rhinestones and sublimation. Well, rhinestones, vinyl, and then sublimation, and then embroidery. So started embroidery about around 2019, 2020, somewhere in there. From there, I'm your crafter's crafter. I try a little bit of everything. So that is one flaw of mine, that I'm always wanting to try something new. But then the reason that I started YouTube, I would have people, as I started posting on social media, would ask me questions. How did I make this? Where did I get this? And I'm like, okay, trying to type a novel of a comment to everyone. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just make a video. And it kind of just snowballed from there. And then went from YouTube. I kind of go back and forth between YouTube and TikTok and now Patreon. So those are my three main socials I'm on, as well as my Facebook group. What else can I tell y'all? What else do you want to know, Shirley?
Well, I'm going to let the group ask questions after Janette tells a little bit about herself, and then we'll start the Q&A and all of that. And I do have a few questions that, in case we have some shy people, and I know the people that follow me and Janette ain't shy because they're always asking questions. So we and I'm sure your followers aren't shy either. So come on with the questions. This is the perfect opportunity to ask any questions from any three of us, whatever you want to know. If we feel like we don't want to tell you, we won't. And if we do, we will. So I'm just saying, in case you want to ask something personal, we ain't gonna tell you that. But anyway, Janette, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Okay, so in case you guys don't know who I am, I'm Janette from Boy Quest Sewing and Crafts. I started doing this around 2018, 2017, when my son went away to college. So we became empty nesters. So I just needed something to keep myself occupied. And that's why I ended up getting a Brother SC1900, which is also an embroidery / sewing machine. So I started watching the Crafty Gemini, started following her videos. I started doing sewing and everything. And then I ended up getting into the embroidery side of the SC1900. And then I fell in love with embroidery. So embroidery is really my thing. I mean, I have tried sublimation, don't really care for it. Sewing, still trying to learn how to sew straight. Embroidery is really my world. I really love doing that. So I think I'm just going to stick to it. I have grown this hobby of embroidery into a home-based business. And I also am now teaching embroidery at Susie's Quilt Shop in Manassas, Virginia. The reason why the business is kind of crept up, because what ends up happening is when you have people around you that find out that you can do this stuff, all of a sudden they want you to do it for them, right? And I'm not about doing stuff for free. You know what I'm saying? Because, stabilizer, thread, electricity, all that stuff costs money. So, I started doing it for friends and family, but then once the word gets out that you know how to do certain things, that's when the business side kind of starts to creep in. So, when I saw that was going to start happening, that's when I said, okay, let me just get an LLC. I have a friend who is a tax attorney also, so I got with him. And so I could learn all the stuff that I needed to do so I could make sure I'm running a legit business, because I don't want to end up with Uncle Sam following me around and stuff. So, the business is going really, really well, which I'm really, really shocked, especially locally. I do sell on Etsy, but, Etsy's kind of like iffy. Sometimes you sell, sometimes you don't. But the orders that I get locally are very, very constant. I get a lot of bulk orders and stuff like that, which kind of led me to buy several multi-needle machines and stuff. So, enjoy what I do. Now that I'm newly retired, I can really get more involved in running the business. So I've been running it for like 7 years now, and it's been doing pretty good. So yeah, I just like embroidery. Tried the other stuff like the sublimation, rhinestones. I'm not into it. I just can't. I mean, it looks pretty, but the thing is, it's just, I could just see you can really go crazy with all this stuff, okay? Because, I mean, it can get out of hand. And before you know it, it's like you do your embroidery, you love embroidery. Then you start doing quilting, you love quilting. Then you got your sublimation, you're buying a sublimation machine. Now you're getting into rhinestones. Now you're buying a whole bunch of rhinestones. I mean, it can get out of hand. I mean, I have a girlfriend and now she's looking at laser cutters and stuff. I think it's the T-tool or something like that. And this equipment is very, very, very expensive. So it can get out of hand. So I kind of, I don't want to do the little everything. I'm sticking to what I know best, which is embroidery. Love doing it. Love teaching it. And, running it as a business, it's a lot of fun. It can get a little crazy sometimes, especially when you get a lot of bulk orders coming in all at once. But as long as you know how to schedule everything out correctly, it can run pretty smooth and stuff. So yeah, so that's about me.
Well, thanks for that. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about me, because I know I'm looking at the names and there are several names on here that I'm not familiar with. So I do know there are people that are watching me that probably don't know who I am. So my name is Shirley, and I started doing this I thought it was 2021, but according to YouTube, it says I did it in 20. So I guess I did. Because I got my first, like Janette, I got an SC 1900 was the very first embroidery machine I got. And I tell you, I bought that simply, I was still working full time, and I simply got it for a hobby, because I used to sew many, many years ago. And I stopped sewing when I got involved in pharmaceutical sales, which I did for about 20 years. And so I didn't have time to sew and all that kind of stuff. And so I got away from sewing. And so I wanted to get back into the hobby of sewing, and I've always loved the look of embroidered items, but I thought they were so expensive. I thought, my goodness, stuff is high. Now I know why. But anyway, I got my machine about a month or two before COVID. So I didn't get the machine specifically for COVID to make masks and all that, like a lot of people did. But I did get it in 2021. And as I was beginning to learn how to do it, COVID hit and everybody started making masks. And I started making my own mask to wear to work, because I am in the health field. I am a nurse, and I was essential. So I had to go to work. So I had to make a mask. And I was kind of like being snippy one day, and I decided to make a mask with essential on there, just as a kind of being sarcastic at work. I wanted to work from home and they wouldn't let us. but, but anyway, I started making masks and stuff, and I was watching Eve. I got to give Eve her props. Eve from the Baby Booty. She pretty much is the godmother for me, as far as teaching me how to embroidery the beginning because I started watching her religiously. I would go to work, come home, get all my stuff, and get on there, and I'd be in the bed with my iPad, half sleeping, half watching her, and learning and learning. And I did watch other people as well, but that's what got me started. And it's kind of like you, Sean. People would ask me questions when I was on Eve's um going watching her channel. You know how you chit chat like people here, chit chat among each other and everything, and they start asking you questions, and you get to know the people that you're chatting with. And people were asking me questions, and I was answering the question, and I said, because I like to talk, I said, well, get on YouTube and put the video out and tell people different things, because I wanted to talk to people that were like me, that were older, and they wanted to start something new. Maybe they were retired or they were looking for a hobby or something like that. And I had a 10 needle machine, and I couldn't find a lot of videos on multi needle machines. Most of the videos pertain to single needle machine. Now, like I said, I was doing my single needle machine, but I quickly learned that the hoop size was too small for me. I love big. Everybody that knows me knows that I love big. The bigger the better. I love doing jacket backs and all of that. And I wanted a bigger hoop size, and I didn't want to have to change thread every 2 minutes and then put it back on and put another color on, put it back on, and so forth and so on. I said, this is crazy. And so that's when I started looking into a multi-needle machine. So I got my single needle machine and my multi-needle machine both in the same year, because I was that, anxious anyway. So that's how I got into it. That's how I got into the YouTube channel. And I don't want to, I don't really want to say I have a business per se, because I'm nowhere near what Sean does or what Janette does. I do have a very, very small business. I do have a Etsy shop, and I do some custom embroidery and projects and stuff for people, but I haven't put forth the effort to branch out to make it grow. And maybe I'll get better talking to these ladies and getting some tips from them. So that's a little bit about me. So now you guys know a little bit about the three of us. And so let's get started and see who wants to ask anybody. It could be either of the three of us. Any question that you want to ask, go ahead and put something in the chat. Um, and I'm going to acknowledge people that I haven't acknowledged already while you guys are putting stuff in the chat. Because like I said, I got quite a few people in here that are new to me. Visionary Creation. Hello, Linnell Green. And of course, I spoke to you, Sean, and I'll be speaking to you again. And CJ Spice. Who else? Leslie, how are you? And Becky, how are you? Sharon Lee, Jenny, Becky. I said Becky. Let me see who else. Hi, Val. And anybody else that I haven't spoken to yet. Pretty Eyes Covington. I've seen you on Janette's site. ATB Marketing. Latonya EX. Rebecca Guinness. And hi, Pearl. And I'm going. I'm waiting for the questions, y'all. Okay. And Visionary Creation said you learned a lot from watching Janette embroider tile. And that's what happens when you find people that you enjoy watching for whatever reason. They kind of click with you and you start watching them. That's how you learn. Because back to Eve from Baby Booties, when I first started watching her, she used to do some of the cutest little skits. And I don't know if anybody remembers that, but that's what pulled me into watching her, because she made her videos very entertaining. And entertaining as well as informative. And I started watching her a lot, but I was also learning from her because she was telling you how to do certain things. Sharon, you have a question. Let me put your question on here. And if you have a question, put a Q before it in case I miss it. I don't want to miss it. I think they have this little icon on here now that tells you it's a question, but I'm not sure. Anyway, Shirley, you want to purchase the 5x5 freestyle or the fixture, but not sure which one to purchase. I'm not quite sure what exactly what it is that you're talking about. I know are you talking about the mighty hoops? Or is there
I think
something
she's
else?
the freestyle fixture, the 5x5 mighty hoop, the free fixture or the freestyle fixture. I have both, and I actually use the freestyle fixture more because I can use it with multiple hoops, and I'm not just limited to the 5x5 hoop or the 5x5 fixture. But if you're going to be doing left chest designs, then I would suggest the 5x5 fixture, because then you could put that on your actual hooping station, and you can set it perfect for your left chest designs. So it's kind of, you're going to have to weigh what more are you going to be using it for. That way you'll know which one will be a better fit for you.
Janette, you have anything to add to that?
Well, oh no.
Okay.
Sorry, I was answering Rebecca's question. I was typing to her. I'm sorry. What was
That's
the
okay. Well,
I agree with Sean. I agree with Sean.
I agree with Sean as well. And I'm like, Sean, I do have the 5x5. I wasn't quite sure what the freestyle, what was being called the freestyle, because I have the hooping station. And Janette is getting it. I was going to see if I could pull. I have several stations. So if anybody's seen, I have a video out that talks about the mighty hoops and all of the things that I have, like what Janette has in her hand right now. I have all of those. So it's pretty much that's the freestyle I'm assuming she is showing you. I have it, but me knowing exactly what they call it, I had totally forgotten. I'm assuming that I use more of the fixture that you sit on your hooping station when I'm doing my left chest hoops. I love to have the hooping station because not only do I do left chest logos, I also, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, I do jacket backs, I do t-shirts and all of those kinds of things. So the big hooping station is best for me. But just like Sean said, you have to decide what it is you're going to use it for, and then make up your mind. And as time goes on and you learn more or move into different things, you will make up your mind if you want to add to it and get, more of the hooping station apparatuses that they have. Because I tell you, you get busy doing the things and you realize that we spend money. We spend a lot of money, like Janette said, when you're getting into this, whether it's a hobby or a business, when you're getting all of the equipments and things that you feel like you need. And I have to be honest, I've used every one of my hooping stations that I have because of the different things that I've done: left chest logos, t-shirts, hoodies, jacket backs, baby onesies, towels, all of that. And you can use the different hooping stations for all of those different things. So it just depends upon what you're going to use it for. That would be the best thing that you buy first, and then go from there. That's my recommendation. And Sharon was asking which one is that, Janette. So that's the freestyle, correct? The one that you showed on the camera.
Yeah, this is the freestyle, because and this I ain't gonna lie, I use this a lot, because sometimes what happens is you might have an item that is a little difficult for you to hoop, and this kind of helps you. Okay, so honestly, especially when you're running a business, sometimes you don't know what items people are going to bring to you to embroider, right? They could bring like Miss Shirley said, jackets, sweatshirts, and stuff. Sometimes you can't put it on the hooping station. Sometimes they might have a jacket and it's just a little bit too bulky and stuff like that. I will just put the template on the left side where I need it to be, and then I'll use this so that I can put my hoop on here, and then I go ahead and I just slide the jacket on it. It's sometimes it's just another method to hoop things. Sometimes it makes it a little easier depending on what it is, a tote bag or something like that, just so you can make sure that the hoop is right in the middle, so that way you can just put your item on there and quickly hoop it and stuff like that. But it is useful. I will tell you, out of the whole Mighty Hoop collection that I have, there is not one piece that I have not even used like once. I mean, I've used all of them and I've used them multiple times. As expensive as they are worth every penny. That is for sure. No regrets. They take my money. That's for sure.
I think
They
ours,
but
they take our money.
yes, but it's a good return on investment. It really is, because once you buy it, it's solid. The material is very, very, very solid. I will tell you, they got a great product. That's for sure.
The other benefit to using the Mighty hooping stations, regardless of which one you get, if you're doing something consistently, like if you do, if your main things are towels or onesies or whatever, you're able to set up the measurements on there and be able to get it in the exact same spot every time. That's the biggest benefit that I see, especially when for all of them, left chest, logos, tiles, everything. If you set it, and I don't want to try to explain right now how to do it because I'm not going to get it right, but I know there's a way you set it up. And every time, if you set it and you have the parameters and you write them down so you remember what they are, then you constantly hoop under those same parameters, then you're guaranteed to make sure that your items are always going to be in the exact same spot. That's very important, especially if you're doing a bulk order. Everybody, if they order 10, 20, 30 towels, they want it to be exactly the same, just like it came out of a factory. That's how you get your business to grow, because they see that you're doing it professionally. And this Mighty Hoop, all of those Mighty hooping stations and the hoops themselves can help you do that. So that's another huge benefit of using Mighty Hoops. They are expensive, but just like Janette said, they're worth every penny. I don't regret buying any one that I have purchased, and I will certainly be buying more as they go. I even have the big jumbo hoop. I have the Brother PR10 55X. I didn't get the Brother hoop. I got the Mighty Hoop jumbo hoop, because I still love the fact that you just do the magnet and instead of trying to put the two plastics together and keep them from coming off and all that craziness. So that works. So have another question.
I would say
Go
to
ahead.
add to Shirley, or piggyback off of Shirley and Janette, when you're starting out with Mighty Hoops, and trust me, they are addictive. Their products are addictive. So focus on what you're going to be using them for, so you'll know which ones to purchase, and then add on as your business grows. Don't feel like you need to go buy 5 or 6 different sizes and 3 different hooping stations. Start off with what you feel you're going to need, and then as you start to add on different, or get different orders, or add on to your business, then add on the additional hooping stations, the hoops, and all that extra stuff.
And if I'm not mistaken, and you guys let me know, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Janette and Sean both are Mighty Hoop affiliates. So if you go on their site, whichever one you want, I'm not an affiliate yet, but they are, then you will, if I'm not mistaken, is it a discount? No, you get free shipping.
Free shipping.
You get free shipping.
And you're
So
gonna want that free shipping because those things are heavy.
Heck
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So you are saving money. So either Sean or Janette, they both have that code that you can use where you can get free shipping when you're ordering your Mighty Hoop. So keep that in mind. And Sean, let me, I'm going to forget because I'm old. You're on here. I don't want to mess up your name. You know who I'm trying to say. Da, 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 da. Let me get to you right quick. Yeah, Sean at Go Savvy Designs. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you are an affiliate as well. So you may have a code. So if I'm wrong, let me know because I don't want to give out any information and I don't want to slight anybody either. So if anybody else is on here, because I believe in fair game. So okay, here another question. This is from Rebecca. I had a question about educating customers professionally about the process of embroidery, and I know Janette, you are doing something like that right now. You want to tackle that question?
Yeah, it's something that I have to do all the time. This is one of the things that I find that a lot of people make a mistake when they're running an embroidery business and stuff. You need to have that conversation with your customers. You got to make sure that you are gathering all their requirements. You have an exact understanding of what it is that they need for you to do for them. I always tell people that watch me, I make it a rule. I don't give prices up front. The reason why I don't do that is because you have to gather all your requirements first, know exactly what it is that they want. Then you want to go back to your shop and you want to sit down. You want to start calculating in your head, how much time is it going to take to complete this project, how much material you're going to be using, your time and everything. That's when you come up with the price. Now, when I talk to the customer about the process, usually that conversation takes place when we're talking about prices. Because one of the things that I need the customer to understand is why they're being charged that particular price. So when you do custom embroidery, a lot of times the prices are not going to be the same because customer A is going to have a different project than customer B. That means the stitching is going to be different. The designs are going to be different. Someone might have a very simple project, which is just putting names on towels with a font that you already own. Another one might be you have to get a file, get it digitized, test it out, make sure that the colors are right. Maybe you have to special order some of the colors that are required in their logo. Sometimes they might have an item that's hard to hoop or something like that. The logo may take very long time to stitch out. There's a lot of things you have to consider when you're doing pricing, right? So when I meet with the customer, I tell them I need to know what it is that they want me to do. If I look at the material and I tell them that might be something that's difficult for me to embroider, it might take a little more time. I'll tell them about the stabilizers and everything. When you are pricing your items and you tell the customer your item, when you have that discussion about the embroidery process, in order for you to complete that project, most likely what's going to happen is the customer is going to understand the price. They're going to know why you are pricing a certain way, because a lot of times what happens, customers don't know. They believe that, you stick something in the machine, you press a button and you walk away. It's not so. A lot of the research happens up front before you even push that button. So, you have to make sure you have that conversation with your customers, make sure that, they understand about stabilizer. They understand about stitch out time. If you find that the design that they have is something that has to be run on multiple speeds or different types of weight threads or different types of needle sizes, make sure you explain that to the customer as well, so they have an understanding of the process and everything that's involved. And that way, when you come out and you say, well, it's going to be $15 a shirt or $20 a shirt or even $30 a shirt, whatever it is, they have an idea of how long that item is going to be underneath the needle. Also, you got to make sure that when you are pricing your time, take in consideration all the machines that you have. obviously, if you have more machines, you can process more items all at once, right? So you can probably give them a lower price because you can get them done a lot faster versus if you have one machine, it's going to take a long time. So, you just got to be open, honest with the customer. And one of the things too that I do tell people, especially embroiders, don't let people hustle you, because there are people out there that they want you to do something for nothing. I mean, I'm serious. I don't mean to be mean or anything like that. But if you're going to get into any type of business, you got to have thick skin. Don't be afraid to turn a customer away. You're better off turning a bad customer away than for you to go bend over backwards for someone that is not going to appreciate you. All right. And you got to remember too, you give that customer a discount, you best believe that customer is going to run their mouth. They're going to talk to other customers and let those other people know that you can be talked down. So you got to make sure you're tough, stand your ground. You know your work. You know the quality of your work. Your time is precious. Okay. Don't undermine that at all. So you know what your price structure is. Make sure you stick with it. You explain it to them. The way I see it is just make sure you price that's fair, because you got to understand the customer's perspective too. Nobody wants to go home broke, right? So, but at the same time, you don't want to be taken advantage of. So you got to make sure that you build that relationship with the customer and you let them know up front and just be flat out honest. I feel that works for me. And if a customer just doesn't like it, I'm good with that too. They could go somewhere else. I'm fine with that. So, I know it sounds a little rough, but the thing is, you got to be tough on this, because if not, you're not going to do well.
You want to add anything to that, Sean?
No, I agree with everything that Janette just said. Even I've come across situations where a customer will place an order on my website. So you're ordering it as you see. You're just picking the color and your size. And then I'll get a message, well, can you add this on there? Can you do this? Okay, so this, you don't want this item, you want a custom item at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to invoice you for that difference. Or this is what you pay for, this is what you're going to get, or you're going to have to pay that difference. Because like Janette said, now you want sleeve embroidery, or you want neckline embroidery, or you want, I'm like, no. So definitely stand your ground. Your price is your price. Don't let no one try to hustle you or lower your price. You know your worth. Know your worth. You know how much you're spending when you're buying your blanks, when you're buying your stabilizer, you're buying your thread and all this other stuff. You need to take all of that into account and don't let nobody try to shortchange you. That's one thing I'll let a person know, like, hey, I'm not the embroiderer for you. Real fast.
And they done that to me too, where they have placed an order online on Etsy. And it's like I have the baby blankets. It specifically says enter child's name. So they'll put the name with a date. And what I do is I'll just cancel the order and I will send them an email saying, if you still want that, it's a custom order and I can send you a custom link and this will be the charge for that. And I tell them, let me know what you want to do. And I make them reorder it, to keep it clean, because I'm not going to play around.
And Etsy is notorious for that. Etsy, you will get that a lot on Etsy.
Yes. But you know what? When they do it once and they know they can't get away with it with you, they'll never do it again. And you'll be surprised. So they'll come out and say, oh, okay, I still want it. And they actually will reorder it on the custom link. But they try. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to get that extra stuff for free. Right? They don't realize that, that extra stuff they want on the sleeve, you got to re-hoop. And that's more stabilizer.
Exactly.
And time.
Yes.
Stabilizer, time, thread, everything.
Right. Exactly. You're asking me to do more work for and not pay me for that extra work. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Not happening.
Exactly.
it goes back to people, as you were saying, educating your customers because they don't understand the process, and because they don't do the work. And people, Picture Me Crafty says she learned about pricing the hard way. And I put that up there because so did I. I had a situation happen to me. You mentioned about discount. I did have a pretty decent sized order. And I was the first time I really had an order that big. I was excited about it and I really did want the order. And I knew the relative of the person that made the order. So I did give a discount. That was to my own detriment because I really didn't make what it was worth. It turned out to be a lot more work than what I had expected. And it kind of surprised me because I hadn't realized this because I hadn't done a lot of children's size logos. I've always done adult size logos. So the adult size logo was, pretty straightforward, simple. You set your setting your parameters for your 1X, your smalls, your medium, and keep going. Then when I got to the kids, you got your two toddlers and your four toddlers and this toddler and that toddler, and I actually had to use the ruler and measure it and all kinds of stuff. And then I wanted to make sure that the babies didn't get all scratched up, so I put the tender touch on it and all of that kind of stuff. And that's extra work, but I didn't charge extra for any of that.
That
And
costs
so
extra to tender touch.
it does, and none of that dawned on me when I gave the price. So that was a learning situation for me. And not only that, yes, the person did recommend me to several other people, but they will run their mouths. And they said, well, I only paid XYZ for it. So the person that came to me wanted XYZ dollars. And I don't know you, so you ain't getting the discount. And
Yes,
it did not go over very well.
friends, family, and friends are not your target audience. If you don't learn or take anything else away from this live, family and friends are not your target audience. They will try to nickel and dime you left and right. They will try to add on while the shirt is on the machine stitching out. All of a sudden they want to add something on there. They want to change a font or they want to change the color. So do not start a business with targeting your family and friends in mind.
And
Never.
they'll be mad at you if you ask them to pay for it too.
Yep.
Well, I tell you,
They're gonna be like, you charging me?
my friends and families, those that I have not purposely made things for them as a gift. Everything else they do pay, and they pay what I charge. My problem is I don't always charge them the exact same price. And my daughter-in-law is notorious. She's very notorious because she doesn't understand either. And she'll ask me to do XYZ. And then when we talk on the phone, she can't give me any specific information until I'm ready to do it. Then all of a sudden she wants something else. And she wants it here, and she wants it on the back, and she wants it down the sleeve. And I just said, honey child, you can't afford this. So you gonna pay for the front hoop and the arm hoop and the back hoop.
Right.
And that's how it go. But you have to let them know that, yes, you're going to pay just like everybody else pays. And it's not a simple thing because people really do think you just push a button. You just push a button, and they don't realize that it's everything else before the button gets pushed. And even after you push the button, you're not done. You got to pay attention to that machine because if you walk away, who knows what may happen to that garment. I know I have, and I'm pretty sure you guys have, and most of you guys out there watching has had an accident where something fell behind, and next thing you know, it gets caught and you've stitched it together, and now it's ruined because you can't get it off the hoop without cutting it. So you just messed that up. That's a whole item that's wasted. You can't do anything with it. And it doesn't matter how experienced you are. If you aren't there watching and paying attention, you can make that mistake because you don't have control over the gravity and the movement of the machine. And you think you got it hooped everything and everything is out the way. But since the machine is constantly moving, things move around. Next thing you know, it came undone and flipped up under there and you didn't even know it. And now you got a whole mess there. So that's even more work because why? You can't do too much of anything else because you got to pay attention to that machine. And Janette, I know you amazed me because you got 3 machines, you're getting ready to get another one. And you have to watch all of these machines and stuff and make sure everything is going well and nothing is doing anything. And then you waiting on Mello to tell you there's a problem.
Mello be getting in the way. He always pops himself right in front of the machines. I gotta be like, move.
He's literally the watchdog.
He is.
Yeah, but we've talked about my audience, that's been following me. We've talked about pricing, and Janette, I know you've talked about pricing a lot. So we've told people, many times about not giving a price up front.
Right.
You got to know what it is that they're asking you for before you can give them a price. And that's going to be the first thing that comes out of their mouth, rightfully so, because they don't understand the process. And before they order something, because I'm looking at it from a customer point of view as well as a embroiderer. As a customer, I want to know how much money I need for this item that I want. But so naturally, the first thing come out of your mouth, how much is this going to cost me? How much is it? But then once you explain, I can't give you a price right now. I need to have all the particulars and then come up with a price. I'll get back to you, or maybe you have the tools or whatever, because we've talked about pricing tools and spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff that's out there that's available where you can, come up with prices that add into all the different, the thread and the stabilizer and so forth and so on, your hours and all of that, and come up with some kind of fixed prices based on XYZ. That's a possibility. Some people use that formula, some people don't. But I do know that you have to make sure that you take everything into consideration before you come out. So I have a question, and come on, you guys, put some more questions in the chat. And if I miss something, put it in there again so I won't miss it. But my question, because I've been talking to the group about a floor price or floor fee, which means I don't turn my machine on for less than X amount of dollars. Do you guys do that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Good. You have to.
You have to. And that's what I've told, I've heard people say, I don't turn my machine on for less than $15. So I don't care what it is that you're asking for. That is the minimum price. You may want one letter, one little bitty 2-inch letter.
That's right.
It's still going to be $15. Anything else is more because I'm not turning on my machine. Yep. So if you, again, like Sean was saying, what she said, there's several things that we want you all to take away. And I stressed that for the past 2 live streams that I did. You need to have a floor price, that drop dead price. Nothing is going to get stitched less than whatever that fits into your own personal category, because you have to know your market. You have to know what it will bear, depending upon where you live, what your competition is. All of those things need to be taken into consideration, and then come up with a reasonable floor price and then go from there with everything else.
Yep. And I even add in my digitizing fee, or if you're not digitizing your own designs, add in your digitizer's fee. That's included in my bottom line price too. So I'm not hitting that on switch, nor am I touching my digitizing software until that that minimum has been met. I don't care
And
who
the
it is.
order is not processed until I get all my money up front.
Yep. Ain't no deposits.
No, I don't do that. I don't do deposits. Nope.
So based upon that, let me ask you a question, because when you're doing custom orders, I'm pretty sure you guys do a proof for approval.
Yes.
So how does that work? How does that work for you?
The way that I do it is if somebody comes with me with a brand new logo and stuff, first of all, I get all the requirements. They say I want 50 shirts. This is the logo. So I come on, I tell them, okay, well, it's going to be $30 just to start. So what it is those $30 are going to pay for the digitizing. It's also going to pay for the test stitch. So that way, when the customer comes, I have a swat with the embroidery on it. So that way they can approve it. Then one of the things that I do tell them too is once you approve everything and you want to proceed with the other 50 or 100 shirts, I'll take those $30 and I'll apply it towards the price of the order. Okay. So, but it's not like, so I'll apply it to the order because it's a big bulk order, right? Mm-hmm. So my pricing, if I have a big bulk order, I just set up the machines just once. And then all I'm doing is taking it in and out. It's just, it's just a thing. So it's quick to do. But if you only have like one item, right, it's like you're going to pay more because I have to set up the machine and everything for that one item only. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes perfect sense. And that was one of the questions that I have, because I don't get huge bulk orders. I'll get a 1 or 3 or 2 or 10 maybe. I've never, I've had 100 before, but that's not a norm for me. So most of my orders are small orders. And yes, you want to do a proof. And what I have done, I have always, they have to give me 25% of whatever before I would do anything other than the proof, which is kind of the same because I'm getting money before I do anything. And once it's approved, then the balance is due before I do anything else. I don't do anything else until the balance is paid. So yes, they have given me some money, what I asked for, and then I do the proof. And once they approve it, that's a done deal. If you approve it and you want to change it, then that's more money.
Okay, for the one items though, I do it a little bit different. It's a little similar, but a little bit different. Like for example, you come to me and you have a logo. All you want is one shirt, right? So what I do is I say, okay, let me see the shirt. And then I say, all right, give me 2 days. I'll get back to you. I can tell you how much it's going to be. So what I do is I take that design, I send it over to the digitizer. And then I tell the digitizer, how much is it going to cost for us to digitize this design, and how long do you think, or how many stitches do you think this design will be? Now, the amount of stitches is going to help you determine how long it's going to be underneath the needle. And looking at the design also, you can kind of already tell, okay, if you're going to be using different weight threads, different size needles, you may have to slow down the machine and stuff like that. But all this comes with experience, right? Because I've been doing it for so long and I've done so many custom orders that I can easily look at a design and already kind of know some of that information up front. However, I'm not a digitizer, right? And different digitizers have different ways of digitizing items. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take a logo and I'll send it to 2 digitizers and have them work on it. So sometimes I do take a little bit of a hit in the cost up front. But the thing is, because I just want to make sure that the product is solid. But once I have an idea of how long that stitch could run under the machine, I haven't even done the test stitch yet or anything. Then I'll go back to the customer and say, okay, if you want that shirt, it's going to run this much money. Okay. And that's going to include the digitizing cost, the test stitch out, and then the shirt. And then I tell them I can send you the invoice. Once you pay the invoice, then I'll proceed. Once they pay the invoice, then I go and I tell Fossil or Billy, okay, I need you to digitize it for me. They digitize it, then I test stitch it. Then I go ahead, I take a picture of it, I send it to the customer. I go, this is what it looks like. Are these the right colors? Is this how you want it? Do you want to come back again and look at it? Because some customers like to feel it and really look at it and stuff. Then once they give me the okay, then I go ahead and I put it underneath the machine. But the thing is, I already got my money up front. You know what I'm saying? So, that's how I do the ones. Because the thing is, if it's a bulk order that I tell them, okay, you just pay me $35-$40 up front, and then after you approve the swap, then I'll process the whole 100 shirts. But if it's a onesie, a one little item, then I do it the other way, where I say, let me do the research first, and then I'll give you a cost. And then I tell them I want to test stitch, because just because you get it from a digitizer don't mean it works right. Digitizers make mistakes too. They're just as human as we are, okay? Just like we can make a mistake hooping something, they can make a mistake digitizing as well. And digitizers digitize differently. Sometimes Fossil has a nicer layout than Billy or vice versa, and I try to take the best out of the two. So that's how I do it. I mean, I don't know,
Same,
Now,
similar.
Same.
Yeah, but just always make sure that you get something in writing. Have a paper trail, a verbal okay or a verbal, yeah, I approve it. Never do that. Always, I send my production worksheet after I digitize the design. I will send it over to them. There's a place on there that they can either digitally sign it, or they can respond to my email and say approved, or let me know if they want any changes. But I'm not taking any type of verbal confirmations ever.
Yeah, all the information is in my invoice. So once they pay it, and I have a statement in my invoice saying read it in detail. Okay, and if you have any questions, don't pay it, talk to me. I'll edit the invoice to make sure there's no misunderstandings.
Yeah, I see several questions, and I'm going to get to your questions, but I wanted to just make a couple of points. One, about the paperwork. There's a lot of different places where you can find examples of a production sheet or what have you. And we talked about, and Janette did as well, Chat GPT. It can also generate, you'll be surprised what that thing can do. It can generate you a production sheet as well, because it is really important that you do have things in writing. People need to understand what the policies are, what your policies are. And you need to have some stick to it, hardcore policies that you're going to stand by. And because you never know, people can be kind of crazy about a little money and want to really, do some damage or something, because they say, well, you didn't tell me this and XYZ. But if you have it in writing and with their signature on it, then it can't be disputed, or it shouldn't be disputable, because you let them know up front what it is. And that would be like, if they approve that proof, then whatever you stitch out, as long as you don't have your own personal error in it, where you yourself messed up, like if your stitching was not perfect and those kinds of things, that is the user's error, then they're stuck with it. If they gave you the wrong birthday, the wrong spelling, whatever it is, that's on them. It's not on you. If you have gotten that thing approved and they checked off on it. So do not forget that. And like I said, don't forget about Google where you can get production forms from, or do Chat GPT, the stuff that you want to put in there, or ask some. I don't have a sheet. I had one a while back. I can't tell you where it is anymore, but because I haven't used a formalized sheet in a while, because I haven't done any big time stuff. I've just one here, one there, mostly people that I know. But other than that, you need to have something in writing. And Sean at I'm putting you on here. There you are. Go Savvy Design. She says yes, and you have your policies and your receipt at checkout. Yes, you, and she does have a business as well, just like the two of you. So it is something that we definitely have to do. And Sharon, you're asking me, you said that this is my fourth session. Yes, I do come on weekly. I come on every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Central. This is Shirley's Wind Down Tuesday, and I've been doing it for going on 2 years now. So it's a lot of videos out there. I have 100 and some odd videos out. I also have tutorials and things like that as well on my channel, which is Shirley's Thread Work. So please look at that and subscribe. It's a little commercial. Anyway, let me get back to the question is, Pretty Eyes, is this live? Yes, it is live. Is this live with the three of you going to be? No. That would be nice, but no. It is not going to be an ongoing thing. However, you never know when we will do something like that, because Janette has been on with me before. So we've done that. And like I said, I've met Janette. We've had dinner together and we have chit chatted and all that kind of stuff. And
We took
Sean, this is my first. So this is my first time actually meeting Sean. So we're meeting for the first time visually, other than seeing her on her channel. But we have chatted back and forth before, and she was gracious enough to agree to come on here. So no, it's not an ongoing thing. That would be awesome, but that's not the case. And another question is visionary creation. Can any of you recommend any digitizers? I use the one that Janette has mentioned, so I'll let Janette because she knows Fossil better than I. But I use Fossil, the same person that she uses.
Yeah, I mean, I have a list of digitizers. If you go to the Facebook group, Embroidery Happy Hour Adventures, under the guide tab is where I have a list of digitizers. My recommendation, if you do embroidery for a business, is don't just use one digitizer. You should always have at least 3 or 4 digitizers that you work with. And the reason being is digitizers have their own style, okay? They all digitize differently. Sometimes the digitizer that you love might be too busy or overwhelmed. Sometimes you need something that's going to be a very quick turnaround. Also, they vary in prices as well. So, you never want to have this one person that you rely on solely. So, on the Facebook group under the guide, I have a list of digitizers that I trust, that I've worked with. And sometimes, I do have digitizers that reach out to me. I like to test the digitizers. I don't just work with anybody, because my business is important to me. My reputation is very important to me. I got to make sure that when stuff comes out of my shop, it's top quality. I don't want people to think, oh, she just started. No, I mean, I have worked on some very complex designs. So I need my digitizers to be top notch. So usually when, I have a digitizer that reaches out to me, I like to have conversations with them. I like to work with digitizers that I can work with. I don't want a digitizer that's going to take the money and disappear. Sometimes you run into those. You run into people that are just starting to learn digitizing, or some people that they digitize the file for you, and then once they got your money, it's like you need a correction or some type of modification, they just disappear. I'm like, no, I don't work that way. So I'm pretty hard on the digitizers. They, my expectations are pretty high. But the way I look at it is, it's about my business, because when I do embroidery and the embroidery walks out of my shop, that represents me. So I cannot afford to have any type of sloppy work. So that's why I like to have several digitizers that I can work with. And Fossil knows me very well. He knows what my expectations are. Billy as well, Deborah. But I have a list of digitizers that I work with all the time. They're all great. And there have even been times when I've had a digitizer reach out to me and say, I would like to work with you. And I'll send them a sample just to see how good they are at digitizing. Usually I'll send them a hard one. And then they send me back their file, and that will kind of give me an indication of their skill set, because you got to be careful. Sometimes some people are just learning, and you know, and you know, you can't knock them for that either, because you know, they got to get experience somehow, right? You know, so you know, but when it comes to your embroidery shop, you don't have, you know, I mean, I don't mind working with a digitizer, but if I know that their experience isn't up to par, I know that when I have a very complex design, I can't give it to them, because I have to have someone that's reliable. So, you know, the digitizers that I work with are listed in my Facebook group. So I have several. So I know I said a mouthful, but just, you know.
Sean, do you do all of your digitizing?
I do. I would say about 90%. That other 10% would be when I'm just busy, or it's just, you know, a complex design and I just don't have time to sit down and focus 5 or 6 hours on one design because I got other stuff going on. But the majority of the time I'm digitizing for myself. I'm digitizing my own design so I can keep that money in-house.
Exactly.
Is why I learned how to digitize.
Now, this question came up. What would you say is the best digitizing software? I can't answer that question because I don't digitize, and I don't think I will be digitizing, even though I do have a couple digitizing software. I have that on and off feeling of, yeah, I want to learn. No, I don't want to learn. Yeah, I want to learn. But I'm happy with who I use, and I have used other digitizers as well as Fossil, and I've not really run across anybody that I haven't been happy with. A lot of the differences has been price and time, but I can definitely speak for Fossil. He is very good and he's quick, and his prices are reasonable. He never ceases, and I've not really given him any huge complex, but I have given him some that you know, kind of dense designs. And next day, like, oh, I can have this ready for you tomorrow. Huh? Really? Good.
He's good.
I've even had him say, I can have it for you today. So that really makes me happy. And like I said, the price has been good. So check out Janette's list on her Facebook site if you're interested. Now the question did come up. Soul Mahogany wants to know what is a good digitizing software. So Sean, I guess that would be a question for you because Janette and I don't digitize.
For the best software, I honestly can say it's going to be dependent on your price point. How much do you want to spend on software? I know Embroidery is a good software, and it is on the more affordable end if you're just getting started out. I love Hatch, Hatch 3 Digitizer. I've been using that for almost 2 years now. I recently, just recently, got Willcom Embroidery Studio 2025. Now, Hatch is going to run you about $1,100. Embroidery Studio is going to run you about $4,000. And Brilliance will run you about maybe a few $100s. So it's going to depend on your price point, what you're willing to spend. How much do you want to digitize? Do you just want to do lettering? Do you want to do very detailed, complex designs? So those are things you want to take into consideration when you're looking at digitizing software. But you can always upgrade with a lot of these softwares as well. Like I know Brilliance has different levels you can purchase and you can add on. Same with Hatch. They have different levels that you can purchase and add on. And you just pay the difference if you wanted to move up to the next level in that particular software. So it's really going to be dependent on what it is that you really want to learn. If you want to be a full-on digitizer and do more complex designs, one tip, and I saw it in the comments that Sean put in there, stay away from auto digitizing. don't even act like that auto digitizing feature isn't even there in your software. I don't touch it. I don't look at it. I don't even play around with it. To me, it doesn't exist. So just make sure, just look at it as far as what do you want to do? What are you going to be embroidering? Is it just going to be for yourself? Do you plan on embroidering for others? So all of those are questions that you want to kind of weigh your pros and cons, because this different softwares can get expensive. John Deere's software, I also have that one too. And that one is, I want to say $1,400. So
The new one he just came, his own personal one.
uh-huh.
Good.
So
I was going
that's
to ask,
more.
yeah. Is it more easy because I have Hatch. I think I have Hatch 2. I don't have 3 because I didn't upgrade because I'm not using 2, so why upgrade? And I have PE Brother PE Design 11. And no, I haven't used either one of them, but I do have them. And I have Embrilliance, but I don't have their Stitch Artist 1, 2, and 3. I just have the editing software. And I want to make a point about, for me and my understanding, you're still doing some digitizing if you have, like, say for instance, Brilliance, which I have Essential and Enthusiast. If you're going to merge or you're going to separate and redesign an already made design, which I always buy designs that are already digitized elsewhere. I buy my designs off of sites that sell them, like Embroidery Library, Sweet Pea, those things. But if you're buying your own design, but yet and still you want to personalize it or something, and you can use Embrilliance, that's still a form of digitizing. And especially if you're doing that for a customer, so there's a charge in it. Even if you don't do anything but add a word to it. If you have this cute little teddy bear and they want the baby's name on there, you have to put that lettering on there. So you're using a software editing software, which I use in Brilliance. That is part of digitizing. Don't think that you're not doing extra work. And even with me, like, I resize stuff. I resize because I like things big, small, whatever, and things are resizable in those software. You have to be careful, make sure your density and all of that stuff is correct. So you need to stitch it out, make sure it's not going to be distorted in any kind of way, but you're still manipulating the design. So that's still part of digitizing. Because I know and I'm not telling people to do what I do, but I have taken bigger designs and I have shrunk them down to make a patch out of. I got a whole jacket full of patches. Several of the patches that I have down on my jacket, I also have them big on my jacket back. So I've had them little bitty and I've had them big, same design, and they've stitched out perfectly. It's just how you work that through your editing software. So I don't consider myself a digitizer at all, but I do manipulate designs to fit what I want. And even some of your machines, because I can only speak with Brother machines because those are the only one I know, especially like if you have a Luminaire, a Stellaire, if you have the 10 needle machines and some like the Dream machine, some of the machines that have IQ Design or what's the other one name? We don't have IQ Design. That's Baby Lock. We have
PE Design.
no, it's not P. Anyway, we have a component on our embroidery machines where you can do some digitizing on that. You can create designs and frames and all kinds of stuff. So that, if you're doing those kinds of things, that's digitizing as well. Miss Banks, Taisha, she showed me how to do create my own mug rug strictly on the machine. And you can do all of that kind of stuff with the software that we have on our machine. And you're not even using the software. You're not using Embrilliance or anything because we have that capability on some of our higher end Brother machines. So keep that in mind, because I'm always trying to tell people, utilize what you have. And if you have these big, beautiful machines, these big, expensive machines that have all of these bells and whistles on it, try to learn it, try to learn how to use them, and take advantage of them because you paid for them. That's one of the main reasons why the machines cost so much money, because they've added all those extra features in there for you to use. And you'd be surprised of the things that you can do with your machine if you learn how to use most and all the functions that you have. You have lasers, you have, I mean, it's just a whole barrage of things that come with a lot of these machines that people don't tend to use because either they don't know that it's there or they don't know how to use it. So that's something that I try to encourage everybody to try your best to learn how to use your machine as best you can.
There's something I want to add.
Design Center, thank you so much. I
I want to
couldn't
add
remember
something if I
Brother
could.
Design Center. Thank
For sure. Let me add
you. Go
something
ahead.
also for the question about the best digitizing software. A little bit of advice. There's a lot of different digitizing software out there at different prices. This is my feel on it. You have to make sure that whatever digitizing software you buy, it is something that you're going to understand and you're going to know how to use. I see a lot of people go out there, spend their money on all these different digitizing softwares, and they're nothing but confused. Don't know how to work it, don't understand it. So one of the things that I highly recommend people do, YouTube is such a big library of different videos. Use it. Go out there. If you're interested in a particular digitizing software, do a search on it. I'm sure there are a lot of YouTubers out there that have done different types of videos on Hatch, on Embrilliance, on So What Pro, on all these other software that's out there. I feel the same way when people talk about embroidery machines. You see a lot of people, they try to push a certain brand of embroidery machine. They go, oh, I got this, I got that. We all know there's about like 25 different brands of embroidery machines. At the end of the day, it's all about what you're comfortable with. Okay. So when you're looking at buying a machine, get what works for you. Okay. At the end of the day, it's all about the stitch. As long as that machine can give you good quality stitch, that's all you care about. Who cares if the machine is called the A or Z? The same thing with the software. It's all about getting software that you know how to use. Everyone learns different. So, just because someone has a particular software and it works for them doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. You got to do your research and get what you are comfortable with. Because if not, you're throwing your money away.
Yes. Classes. When I first started Digitizer or decided I wanted to digitize, I did the Hatch 30-day free trial. And then at the time, John Deere had plenty of Hatch classes up. And he had some courses that you could take separate from what he was posting on YouTube, which is like a Digitizer's Dream course. And it was 3 levels. And within each level, like certain of the tutorials, there'll be like 5 lessons within each level. And some of those levels would have 5 designs within, like, say, level 1, lesson 2 has 5 different tutorials in there. And then the same with the next level. So I went through those classes. It took me about a good 2 months to get through all the levels because he gives you the materials, everything in those courses to practice with. And so I would watch it, and then I would have him on one screen, my software on another, and then I would be trying to digitize it. I would go back, rewind, play, stop, and learn. That's how I learn. I'm a hands-on person. So I don't think he offers those particular classes for Hatch. Of course, he has his own software now, but there's a ton of people that I've seen on YouTube. Romero Threads is one. He does a lot of tutorials in Hatch and Wilcom. There's a few others that I see doing tutorials in Embrilliance. So yeah, Janette is right. YouTube University is going to be your friend. Watch some of the tutorials. Learn a little bit about the software. See if it's something that will fit you or if you're looking for different features. And just watch a few different tutorials about different softwares and then go from there. Don't just because I say I like Hatch or I like this, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to like it. So just weigh your pros and your cons, look at different software options, see what's available, and compare that to what you're going to be doing or what you want to do with the software and your business as well.
Mhm.
And be sure to take advantage of the free trial period. Most
Yes.
of them have 30-day trial. You can try it. You can't save your stuff, but you can try it, and because they're not cheap. None of them
Right.
are cheap, and most of them are a grand or more if you get a true digitizing package. Now you can get different levels, just like Sean said, where you have your editing components. And I truly believe that everybody should have at least one software to do editing with, because you don't want, even if you buy a design, there is always a possibility or need that you need to edit something about that design. So if you don't have that editing machine, software, you may not be able to use the design that you just purchased. So, look into that. So What Pro, I do not have it. I've never used it. I've heard good things about it. And to me, that's the most economical software that I've heard of. And they do have a digitizing component. I forgot the name of it. Uh, and then, of course, Embroidery has their modules, and they have 3 modules that are specific for advanced digitizing, and it's called Stitch Artist, and it's 1, 2, and 3. They're a little bit more pricey than the editing component, and for me, it's very user friendly. It was the first software I ever purchased based upon watching what other people were doing and recommending. And I have to say, I was able to just jump right in without any issues at all and figure it out on my own. And then, of course, I've watched tutorials and stuff, so it is really user friendly. Some of the other softwares takes a little bit more time and effort to learn. So you have to decide if you really want to be a digitizer. I did get involved with a John Deere digitizing class several years ago, thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to digitize, and my I just didn't have the time to put into it, and decided, this is not for me. I don't, I mean, for what I was doing, I didn't see the need of it, because I loved all the designs that I was able to purchase. And also, there are people that can do that for me. And if you're doing it to sell, then you just add that price into their cost, so you're not out of money. So that was what works for me right now. I'd rather just call somebody up or text them or whatever, send them what I need and say, can you get this done to me? I need it whenever I need it, and send it back and go from there. That works for me. But if you want to learn how to digitize, definitely pick and choose, look at it, get trial versions of the different one, and try more than one, because you may find one that is easier to use than the other one. So they're not all alike. I promise you, they're not all alike. The concept is the same, but how it works is different. It's just like I have several embroidery softwares, period. Like Dime will sell you 25 softwares in a year if you buy them. And for every different little component of stuff to do. And I know I have 3 or 4 of them. And it dawned on me, girl, please, you don't need all that stuff. And it's not as intuitive as Embrilliance is. I like what you can do with them, but the learning curve for me is a little higher. And that's what made me decide, stop buying those software, even though you know that it will do specific things that you like. But it's not intuitive for me. And I don't want anything at this point in my life that's going to puzzle my brain too hard.
You definitely have
So
to be
I
mentally prepared to learn digitizing, regardless of what software you use, because it is a lot. and you're looking at stuff in millimeters, you're looking at push and pull compensation, you're looking at density, you're looking at underlays, you're looking at different stitch types. There's so much to learn. And when I tell you, I have my tablet here, and to this day, I still take notes on stuff because you're going to continue learning. It's not like you buy the software, maybe you take a few classes and you know everything there is to know. You're going to continue to learn as you go. And just like Shirley was saying, try the free trials, see what works for you. Line it up with what you plan on doing with your business, and then invest the money that way. But having some type of editing software, because I purchased fonts and designs as well, and being able to like add a name or do something different to the design, you can go in and you can edit the objects. So you can make it your own or put your own twist on it. But yeah, having at least the editing version of any of these softwares, you know, that we've mentioned is also a good idea. So you can just kind of go in and put your little touch on it.
Okay. Question. This is a question for you, Sean, because you have the
The 15 needle. Did it freeze? I think Shirley froze on my end.
Yeah.
I can still hear her.
She
Okay.
has the buy.
Okay, I
mural,
see.
and she's trying to figure out where to
start. Yeah, so we have the same the by mirror 15 needles.
Oh,
and so
my goodness, this is really getting on my nerves right now.
Okay, now we can hear you. I can hear you now, Shirley. You were frozen.
You guys are disappearing for some reason. I don't know. My bandwidth, I think, gets overloaded or something, because I'm actually plugged into my modem. So it should not be doing this, because we're not even doing wireless. I am hardwired.
No, I can hear you fine now. You were frozen for a minute,
Yeah.
but I can hear you fine now.
Okay. But anyway, So Mahogany is asking about the 15 needle machine that you
yes.
have.
So by 15 needle, and I've started doing tutorials on YouTube, just showing you, you know, how to set up your mighty hoops, how to add your colors, how to do different things with the machine. But I also put information as well in my Facebook group, also All Things Craft, and I answer, you know, help answer questions and because I've had some people in the group also purchase a buy and they needed help. So check out my Facebook group or my YouTube channel, because I'm going to be adding more buy tutorials, giving more information about the machine itself.
Okay, great. I'm scouring here to see if I have any more questions that I may have missed. And if anybody asks the question that we have not touched on, please put it in again, because I don't want to miss anybody. Yeah, Crystal, you say I'm breaking up. Yeah, it's an issue. I have no idea. I still have to do some research to try to figure out what is going on. And question for you, Sean. I know you switched out of StreamYard, and are you still using Restream?
So I did log into StreamYard. So I'm on the free version of StreamYard, but I use Restream, but I was able to log in and then stream to my YouTube channel through StreamYard.
So my question is, which of the two do you like to use all the time? Because I'm not sure why I'm having all the issues that I'm having with my live stream, and I am seriously considering switching from StreamYard. And I know a lot of people jumped ship back when they did that little funny thing with their pricing.
Right. I was one of
Yeah.
them.
Uh-huh. I remember when you did it. I saw your video. That's why I knew you were on with Restring. I haven't jumped ship yet, but I'm seriously considering it. So you like it better or as well as you did StreamYard?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty much the same when you're looking, you're in your studio space, pretty much everything's the same. You can set up everything, your background, you can post your comments on there. It's just cheaper. Where I was paying $49 for StreamYard, you were only able to pay 19 and
Yeah.
get the same, features. But overall, I like Restream. I've been enjoying it when I do use it. And I can use it too when I do my one-on-ones, which I really like because I can also record it and then send that recording right after.
Okay, good. Good, good. Visionary, let me see if your question will come up. Yeah, visionary creation. Do any of you quilt on your embroidery machine? I guess the first question would be, does any of us quilt?
Nope, I make binky blankets, but I'm not a quilter
Well,
at all.
Sean just said no,
Well, I have done.
and I know, Janette, you say you've done what?
I have done some because you could buy the files. There's a lot of rehooping in that process and stuff. Because now I started to quilt, I mean, I kind of like it because all you have to do is just buy the file and then just hoop the quilt, and then you just got to rehoop it. The trick is to get everything aligned and stuff. And I know at the sewing and quilt expo, I'm actually signed up for one of the classes because I want to see and some of the tips and tricks that they teach about quilting on an embroidery machine. Because a neighbor of mine has a long arm, but I don't want to spend $30,000 on a long arm.
So are you?
Not doing that.
You actually can get a smaller version. But anyway, are you edge to edging or are you quilt blocking,
I'm quilt blocking.
Janette?
Quilt
You're
block,
quilt blocking, okay? Because I,
not doing it edge to
pardon?
edge. I want to try it.
Okay. I Yeah, that's where well, first of all, I don't consider myself a quilter. I have made two quilts. Have been happy with the results because I had never done a quilt before in my life, and I kept fighting it. But those people that have been following me know that I also have a group called the Social Society Crew, and we meet every Wednesday via Zoom. And so we're doing all of this that we're doing tonight, but it can be up to 10 or 12 of us at a time. And we do projects and everything together. And then we do a reveal once we've completed the project. And we have made a couple of quilted items. And we've also done a quilt because some of us in the group are not quilters and some of us in the group are quilters. And I resisted it for the longest. And then I broke down and decided I was going to go ahead and do a little small quilt. I think my quilt is like 40 by 40 inches or something like that. And I was so proud of myself that I finished it. I didn't actually do the edge to edge. I tried, I didn't do it right, but I managed to quilt it on my machine. The second quilt that I made, I didn't want to mess it up, so I quilted it on my sewing machine, and I just kind of did the diagonals going in two directions. You do the diagonal all across one side, and then you turn into the diagonal on the other side because that was easy. So that was done on my sewing machine. But I do want to learn how to do edge to edge, and we are going to most likely be doing some more quilts. Um, And I know I'm going to do a rag quilt. And I bought an AccuQuilt cutting machine because my biggest issue with quilting or anything, I can't cut a straight. You can't sew a straight line, Janette. I can't cut a straight line.
My neighbor got the AccuQuilt cutting machine as well, but you know, those are pricey.
They are pricey, but for me, it was worth the money because I was so happy when I could cut out some squares and they were squares and everything was the right size. And it you have to have your squares or whatever your shape is the right size in order to
Correct.
get that quarter inch in there and
Yeah.
make those points. And I was tickled pink that my points were on point. You hear me? My point was on point. And so that's the whole process of quilting. If you don't get those points together, I mean, it's still a quilt, but you ain't gonna be sticking your chest out.
Did you get the electric one or did you get the one that you crank?
I got the one that you crank because I didn't go. I got the Go. I didn't get the Go Big. The Go Big is the electric one. That's
Yeah,
the most priciest one. And
that's
then the little bitty one. I didn't want the little bitty one, so I got the regular in the middle one. And it's still pricey, but for me, it was worth the price. The dyes
uh,
are pricey as well. Um,
yes.
but I haven't bought a whole ton of dyes, don't plan on, because I'm not planning on doing a whole bunch of quilting and stuff. But what I have will suit me for what it is that I want to do, because I want to make some quilts for my kids just to say I
Mm-hmm,
made a quilt,
mm-hmm.
which is something that Leslie is probably laughing at me because I told him I wasn't going to ever quilt, and I lied because I did. So this is what you've been on my Wednesday night, Janette. You know how we act.
I know. But
We
see,
cut up.
I'm gonna stick to my rotary cutter. If the points don't go together, it's okay. It was made with love, okay?
Right.
It is an investment, but I tell you, well, see, you have invested in all those machines. I haven't invested in all those machines. I only have one machine, so I got a little money where I can get the accurate quilt cutting machine. If I had a ton of machines, yes, I would, because I'd be making more money, wouldn't I?
They do
But
pay.
anyway, and Jenny says she's currently, which she is currently embroidering
Embroidery
on a
on a
quilt.
quilt.
And I know well, girl, I can't say enough about Robin. Robin does her quilting on her sewing machine, and it is beautiful. She makes big, huge quilts on her sewing machine. So she puts us all to shame, but she's been
Does
quilting ever
she
since
use
she was a
a
little cat.
template? Does she use a template on the sewing machine? Because I saw they have those
No, she's learning how to. She's on here. She can tell you, but
free arm.
she
She just does the free arm.
she's learning how to do the free motion. She's learning how to do free motion, but she still does, she gets the lines and the diagonals and all that kind of stuff. And she tears it up. When she get done with her quilt, it is absolutely gorgeous. So the ladies that are in my Wednesday night Zoom, there's at least three of them, maybe four, that are very good at quilting. And they look they look really, really good. But I know um Deborah, she has done edge to edge on her luminaire. She has a luminaire. Yeah, she has done edge to edge on her luminaire. And who else has done? Robin, you're on here. Help me out. Who else has done edge to edge on their machines? Because I can't remember. And she says, thank you guys. I love to make quilts. That's Robin's quilt basket. She makes beautiful quilts. And Danielle, bless her heart, Danielle will come 2 days before we supposed to do the reveal and come up with a great big old quilt already cut out, stitched together.
She does beautiful quilts too.
Oh my
Some
goodness.
of her work. Oh,
I look up, the reveal is on such and such a day. Yeah, I know, I got you. And next thing you know, here she come with this big, beautiful quilt she has put together in 2 days, and this has taken us 3 weeks, and we ain't got nothing done.
she
But yeah, it's several ladies. But we're not.
she does a lot.
I'm not a quilter.
Me neither.
But I'm trying to learn how to quilt, and that kind of goes back to what Sean was saying when she first did her introduction. Oh, Robert said Deborah, Val, and well, somebody else did the edge to edge. I thought Robin, but I know they did. But anyway, I did a little sewing years and years ago, so I'm trying to relearn how to sew, because when either you use it or you lose it. I used to make clothes that I wore, and I made clothes for other people. Not to say I was a tailor. I went strictly by a pattern and all of that kind of stuff, but I knew how to get the straight lines together, put things together, and make it look nice and wearable. But I got away from that years and years ago, so now I'm trying to relearn all of that. And trust me, if you don't use it, you lose it. I can sew a straight line, but anyway, I'm still relearning it. Then I started embroidering, and like I said, I was watching Eve, and Eve did rhinestones. So I said I love the bling, so I started doing before rhinestone, I got into the sublimation. So I do a little sublimation. I have the Sawgrass 1000, so I do a little sublimation. I've done cups and tumblers. I got a tumbler, heat press, all of that stuff. And then I started doing some rhinestones. So I got the cricket and all that stuff to cut the flock and all of that. And that's as far as I've gone. So I do embroidery, which is my mainstay. I love embroidery. I rather embroider than anything else. My second thing that I like is rhinestone, because I love the way it looks. I just have a trouble with them doggone getting them dots out of there. It gets on my nerves.
Yes, getting them up from that flock is a pain sometimes.
Oh my word, gets on my nerves. And then sublimation, and then I started doing the rhinestone. I tried to do a rhinestone tumbler, one by one by one. That was a huge failure, so I won't be doing that anymore, even though I have a whole lot of flat rhinestone. But my tumbler was a hot mess. I stick to the stuff that got a flock. Because I couldn't get that. For some reason, I just could not get that design to stay the way it's supposed to. When you're putting them on the cup and stuff, it looks pretty and everything. But if you're not doing it correctly and getting everything lined up, then it looks a hot mess. So
I do have some sublimation rhinestone templates on my Creative Fabrica page. So it's basically you would have to print it with your sublimation printer, and then press it onto the sublimation tumbler, and you just follow the pattern, and you can't mess it up.
I will try that. I will try that, because and I have seen those. I have seen the templates. I have seen the templates and stuff. I've never gotten one, but that when I saw that, I said that's a perfect idea for me, because for me to try to get that lined up on my own, it does not work. And I know, Janette, you were saying you tried the sublimation and you didn't want to keep doing it because you kept wasting yeah, you do. I've wasted a whole lot of money trying to sublimate on my thing. I could get the tumblers and stuff and don't have the seam and everything. What I messed up on was those tumblers that look like a bullet. Have you seen those, Sean? They actually look like a bullet, like
yeah. Well, I haven't sublimated on those, but I bling some of those out. But yeah, that curve is the problem.
Yeah, that curve, and I could not find a template anywhere. I looked and looked and looked for a template, because if I had had a template, then I could have done it, but I couldn't find a template. So I ended up messing up a whole lot of cups, and I was trying to do a project for my son because he's military, where he was in the Marines, and he was getting married, and most of his groomsmen were also in one of the branches. So their groomsman gift was going to be the tumbler, but it was going to be in the shape of the bullet. That was my idea. And I wanted to do it all the way up. And I could not get it all the way up. So yeah, I messed up almost a half a case trying to get that done. And I decided I ain't gonna do that. And I just did the half of it and went on, and nobody was the wiser that it wasn't supposed to be that way. But yeah, you're gonna waste money learning how to do anything, just like we wasted money learning how to embroider. I know I jacked up some stuff in the beginning.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's how it goes. But yeah, any more questions for these two ladies here while I have them here? This is a unique opportunity to
I do
get
see
any
one
more questions.
from Pretty Eyes Covington. She asked me, is there a difference between the buy machine and the machine that I had? And so the only difference is I have 5 less needles. That's it. And it fits better into my space in here than the machine that I had before. The machine that I had before was huge, 20 needles. This one's 15 needles, and it's a little bit smaller, but it's still a beast. It still does everything I need it to do. So that's the only difference.
I have to put this up that Faker put on here just for fun. After sipping a little wine, all my points will be pointing in some kind of way. She talked about the quilt points.
She's gonna be creative.
That is about true. That is about true. I tell you, it's interesting. So let me see. Anybody else have any?
And just because you try different crafts when it comes to business doesn't mean you have to sell everything that you're trying. You could still be the ultimate crafter and just want to try this and try that. That doesn't have to affect your business. That doesn't mean you have to sell it or anything like that. So don't feel like, okay, if I'm trying this now, I have to sell it. That's not necessarily true, because I got all kind of machines in here, and half of them I don't even use sometimes.
And that, because even though we do try to make some money off of our skill, because it is a skill, you learn it. The more you do it, that's part of your practice. You get better, your confidence grow, and it is a skill. And so you can sell your product as long as you price it correctly. But we're still crafters. So that curiosity is there. And especially if it's something that is pretty or interesting to you, oftentimes you'll give it a try. I haven't tried everything. Again, back to Eve, she went she started doing the direct to garment, the DTF, the resin. She did, and I said, stop, time out. I can't keep up, and I just stopped. I stopped at embroidery, rhinestone, sublimation, and I didn't try to do anything else because 1, I didn't have room for stuff. 2, I couldn't afford all that stuff, and number 3, I wasn't interested in all that stuff. It's, I don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. I want to master what I really love, and what I really love is embroidery. So I will try practically any type of project that is involving embroidery, because I want to learn how to do different things. That's how I started watching Sean, how I started watching Janette, watching them do things, and other people that I have watched. And of course, people have watched me, because I try to, when I learn something, I put it on and show other people, because like I said, there's not a lot of people that have videos out showing how to do things on a 10 needle machine or a multi needle machine. There are more tutorials out there for single needle machines, and there are people that started watching me simply because I was doing it on a multi needle machine. And there is a difference. If you look at a tutorial, I was doing a project that will be revealed next Tuesday, and it was done on a single needle machine. When they tell me go to the top or to the bottom, whatever, I have to figure out your top is my left or my right or whatever, because the orientation is different. My orientation is horizontal, whereas their orientation is vertical. So I got to figure that out. So when you're looking at a tutorial of something that is being done on a single needle machine, but you only have a multi-needle machine, but you still want to do that particular project, then you need to figure out how to do that. And that's part of why I do the tutorials that I do, because I want to show you how to do it on a multi-needle machine. If that's the only machine you have. I do have a single needle. I still have my SE 1900. But again, it's too little. I don't like that 5x7 ain't big enough for me. I want something bigger. And so I spend most of my time on the 10 needle. And Visionary said, yes, please watch my channel. I do have a lot. This is Visionary. I do have quite a few tutorials on there using my brother 10 needle machine. Matter of fact, all the tutorials that I have are done with my 10 needle machine. I've not done any tutorials using the single needle machine. I do have at least one, I believe, using a serger. And I'm not a serger pro, but I do have a serger as well. So I have done some serging too. So yes, that's you need to be able to figure out what works for you and what machine you have and how to do it. Even if you only have a machine that is a 4x4 or a 5x7, they have those repositional hoops. So there are tutorials out there. I know Janette has some out there that shows you how to do the repositional hoops to make your design larger, because that's the only size that you currently have, a 4x4 or 5x7, but you want to go a little bit bigger. So all of those tutorials are out there that can help you. Elizabeth Ingo, you said you were just watching Janette, one of her older video, and she used her repositional hoop, the 5x12. That's what the 5x12 is. It is a repositional hoop because the SE 1900 largest hoop size is 5x7.
Yep.
Because we both have the SE 1900.
And I can say a couple of my videos, some of my highest viewed videos are on my brother machine making a patch on a single needle. Those videos tend to get a lot of views for the single needle, especially the repositional hoop too.
And thank you, Faker, for saying, don't forget to like and subscribe to all of us. All three of us have channels. Like and subscribe to all of us. If you aren't on Sean or Janette's channel, subscribe to her. Also, don't forget to subscribe to me. I'm trying to get up there with them. I videos and stuff out there and get a little bit more busy. But I do enjoy watching other people because that's how you learn. Yep. And you pick up pointers from everybody. I do have certain people that I watch pretty often. And if I think that you're giving good information and you're showing people how to do something and everything that I'm interested in, then I will jump on your bandwagon and watch you. And I do support, and I also will shout out any and all people that I watch. I don't have any issues with that at all. So thank you, Faker, for reminding me, because sometimes I totally forget all about that. I get to run in my mouth.
There was
Someone
somebody
asked, go ahead,
asking
Janette.
about they I think somebody said something. They were asking about a video on pricing.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
I was going to say. Go ahead.
yeah. My advice on pricing. Um, there is no solid way to really do it. Okay, there's a one. I have a video on my channel where I talk about the things that you need to consider when you are creating your pricing. The reason why I say you have to consider things when you're creating your pricing is because everybody's different, right? We're all in different states. Some people have, there's a high cost of living, some are low cost of living. Some people like to use the method of a certain amount per stitches. Some people like to charge on time. Everybody pays differently on their material. Okay, stabilizer is might be cheaper for me because remember I run it as a business, so I don't pay sales tax on threads, stabilizers, blanks, and stuff like that. And I also get wholesale prices on some of my on a lot, well, mostly everything that I get. So I don't pay the retail price that normally other people would pay. So the thing is, you have to take a lot of things into consideration. So not everyone is going to have the same exact price structure and the same prices. So in the video that I posted, I just really honed in on the things that you need to consider. And I recommend watching that so that you could get your brain thinking on, all right, I got to think about this. I got to start tracking how much I'm spending on my thread, my stabilizer. How much am I going to be charging my time for? How much is digitizing costing me? And, look at where you're at and what would be the best price for your items and stuff. So I find a lot of people make the mistake that what they do is they see somebody charges $10. So they say, okay, so I'm going to charge $10. You can't do that because it might be a profit for them and it could be a loss for you. So you have to kind of really think about your situation. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that answer, but I'm being straight out honest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the type that's going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what it is. Okay. Because I know for me, I'm running a business and this is not a hobby. It started that way, but I got to pay for my electricity and all that kind of stuff and everything. So, I can't mess around and, just lower prices and stuff like that and do things for free. So it really depends. I always tell people on your situation. If it's a hobby and you just want to earn enough where you can replenish your supplies, then okay, you're going to have your own little price structure. But if you're doing running a business because you need you want a profit, you got to think another certain way. So just something to think about. I would say not just look at the video that I put out there, do a search. There are other embroidery businesses out there that have also put out videos on things they consider when they're setting their price structure. I think you need to really just do your homework and see what method works best for you. So
Yes.
I want to add to that. 2 weeks ago, I mentioned to you that this is a series. It's a 6-part series, and this is the 4th part. The second one that I did was 2 weeks ago. I believe it was on the 9th, and it's pricing without fear: how to value your embroidery work fairly. And it was a 2-hour presentation, conversation, asking questions, giving information about the things, just like Janette said, what you need to consider based as you're trying to come up with a price for you. And it's a lot of different things that you have to consider. Nothing is going to be the same for you that would be for me and for the next person, because all of our circumstances are different. And someone asked a question about Janette saying she doesn't have to pay taxes and all of that wholesale. No, you do not have to have an LLC. You do have to have a business license to be able to buy wholesale, but you don't have to have it set up as an LLC. It just has to be set. It could be a sole proprietor or whatever one you want to set it up as, doing business as, whatever. You just have to have a business license in order to purchase things wholesale. Therefore, you don't have to pay those taxes. So,
However,
You
you know,
might have to have a reseller permit or a sales tax permit, depending on the state that you're in. Because when I go over to California to buy stuff downtown, a lot of the vendors initially, I had to show them that I had a reseller's permit to
correct.
even buy wholesale.
Right. And the other thing also is when I am charging for my services, I collect sales tax. So I
right.
don't pay
Yep.
sales tax on the things that I buy for the business. But when I am selling, I have to charge sales tax. And that sales tax that I collect, I have to pay to the state of Virginia
Exactly.
every month.
Exactly. So when she says she doesn't have to pay taxes, don't mean she don't have to pay taxes.
Yeah, Uncle
We're not saying that on camera.
Uncle Sam's gonna get his cut, okay?
For sure.
So don't run out there and get an LLC thinking you ain't got to pay no taxes.
Exactly. No, that ain't the thing.
Otherwise, you're going to be getting a letter from your uncle.
Right. That's right. So
Yeah, you can't make it in this world and not have to pay some tax.
Yeah.
You just don't have to pay taxes on your wholesale items that you purchase for your
Right.
to sell. But then you
And
got to turn around and
get a
pay
good
taxes on your earnings.
Make sure you get a good accountant also. If you don't know how to run a business, you're confused about whether you should get LLC, how to get your business license, all that stuff. You work with an accountant, they will steer you the right way. You got to make sure you have your records straight. I actually had to hire somebody. I try to do it myself. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of paperwork and stuff. So I actually have an employee that runs my books for me. You don't want to mess around because if you get audited, you got to make sure you have your receipts that you can show your expenses and everything. So yeah, you don't want to mess around with that.
So take all of that into consideration if you are indeed thinking about having a business or anything like that, because it's not just simply saying I got a business and you start selling stuff and everything
Right.
and making all kinds of money and you're not doing it the legal way. You can get in a whole lot of trouble.
And don't compare
So
your business to somebody else's business, or
Right.
don't start your business based off of what somebody else may be doing or what they're making, because you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. You don't know what they're paying. You don't know. You just don't know. So do not compare your business to what you see somebody else is doing, because that 9 times out of 10 is not going to be the case for you.
Mm-hmm.
And don't jump into business just because you think you're going to get rich off of it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it's commitment. Is time. I mean, it's commitments. You work for yourself harder than you work when you're going out of the home working, because you are responsible for everything. You have to make sure that you have to be on point with everything. When you go to work, you're responsible for whatever that is you have to do that day. Then you come home and you're done. If you have a business in your home or whatever, you're responsible for everything that has to be done. And so just make sure that's something that you're ready for, because I know, like I said, I don't really consider myself having a business because I don't have that much, and I'm not upset about it, because I think about, for me personally, I don't think I would be happy doing the same thing every day, day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out, the exact same thing. That would not be fun for me. To me, it would eventually become boring. How many more towels I got to do? Oh, I got another stack coming up. What I got tomorrow? I got some more towels. Yeah, okay. And what, they blue towels today, right? Where, no, that would not be fun for me. I like to learn and I like to do different things and stuff like that. So I enjoy my little one-ons here and one-ons there and stuff, because I'm doing something different all the time. And that's what I enjoy. So, But that's just me. If you want to have a business and stuff, really pay attention to the ones that are successful in their business. Watch them. If you have the opportunity to talk to them, there are people that have courses that they're offering, telling you how they have become successful and what they've done. I mean, you can choose to take their courses. Most of the people that I know a couple of them, they do have a fee, and but they do offer you information. It's up to you if you want to take those courses and stuff. But I would check it out to make sure it's something that is going to be beneficial to you, because they're not cheap. They're not cheap. But these people are business people too, and that's just part of what they do, that they have added to their business structure. So,
Ah,
but there is information out there.
and Savvy Designs, get business insurance as well. Oh yeah, I have business
Yeah.
insurance as well. You, if somebody falls in your house or something like that, or somebody tries to sue you for copyright or something like that, yes, there's a lot that is involved in owning a business. Really is. So it's like, if you don't know, you got to make sure you get with an accountant, and join some that I always like doing is join groups. Sometimes they have like business owners of different businesses that meet together, and they feed off of each other and help each other out and stuff like that. Join groups like that. Go to a community college, get take a course on how to start your own business and stuff like that. So, but there's a lot that's involved. You're involved. You got to market yourself. You got to advertise your business. You got to make sure you have your like your business license and stuff. You got to make sure you have a business account. Okay, you can't mingle business money with personal money. That's got to be separate. Can't have it together. So there's a lot of things that are involved in owning a business. So you got to make sure that yes, small business groups in your local area, correct, join them. You be surprised, people love helping other people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you run into somebody that don't want to help you, so what? Don't talk to them.
Right. And do not start a business based off of trends or just the holidays alone.
Correct.
I've seen people that start business, especially around this time of the year, and then January until, who knows, whenever they're like, okay, I'm not getting any sales because all your products are just holiday based. So
Right.
don't start your business based off of trends or holidays. You would be going on a roller coaster every few months.
Yeah, and since you mentioned trends, the other thing too is sometimes what happens, I find that people they do something because they see is somebody else is doing it and it's working out for them and stuff like that. That's just a moment thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you got to be creative all the time. You always got to think ahead about what's your next step and all that kind of stuff and everything. If you're riding on somebody's coattails, you ain't going to make it.
Not at all.
Yeah. I mean, it's competitive, and it's a lot to think about when you want to actually start a business, and go slow. If you're new and you're just learning, like Janette has always said on her channel, make sure your skills are on point. Make sure your skills are on point, because that's your reputation. If you sell something to somebody and it ain't no good, your business is already doomed right there. So make sure you know. And I know a lot of people say, I don't think I sew good enough to or embroider good enough to sell. It's practice, 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 because none of us did it good enough to sell when we first started.
Right.
But you got to keep practicing. You have to keep watching tutorials and read and pick people that you feel are successful. Everybody that has a YouTube channel telling people how to do something is not necessarily going to be the best people to watch. You have to pick and choose the type of people that you watch. Look at how you want your business to be and follow those people that are doing stuff the way you feel comfortable. Would you buy from that particular person? Then that's the person that you need to watch to learn from. If you're watching a channel of somebody and they're running their whatever it is that they're doing, their YouTube channel and stuff, and it's all discombobulated and stuff is all awry and everything, I personally would be a little leery. I would, because I want to watch somebody that at least looks successful. They're doing something that is, they're successful. They're doing what they want to do and they're making money off of it and they're happy. They're not just in it for the moment and they're going to run out of it or something like that. If you're wanting to do it and you want to grow. Now, if you're just doing it for a hobby, then it really doesn't make any difference who you watch if you're trying to learn how to do something. If you're just wanting to learn how to, embroider on a tile or stick some rhinestone on a cup or whatever it is that you're doing. If you're not trying to learn how to do it to sell, then it doesn't matter. But if it's something that you want to do to sell, pick the best people that you can find. And it's so many people out there, so many channels. Just, go through it and see if that person impressed you. Is the results of what they did that impress you? Then those are the people that you need to be watching. At least that's my recommendation, and that's how I do it. I don't have a whole ton of people that I watch. I've seen several different content creators and stuff, but I don't watch a whole ton of them. I have my set people that I really pay attention to and listen to, and people that I consider to be experts in the field and what have you. And then that's kind of how I take from there and follow what the rules are.
Regardless of whoever you're watching, always test your products before you post it on your website, before you try to sell anything to anybody. If you're doing embroidery, put it through the wash test, wear it. How does it hold up? Do you need to use a different stabilizer, or do you need to adjust your tension?
Yep.
Test your products, regardless of if you're selling tumblers, if you're doing embroidery, if you're making blankets. Test those products before you put them on your website, because once you get those products in a customer's hand and something happens, that's going to be a bad look on you and your business.
Yep. And make sure you ask those customers how they're going to use those products too, and make sure that you talk to them how they're supposed to care for embroidery. Not everybody knows how to care for embroidery. They'll just put it in a wash and a dryer, and they'll put it with like a bra or something that has a hook on it, and then it'll like pull on the thread. You got it, just if you know that your stitching is not top quality, you're not ready. You're not ready.
And that goes for your rhinestone products as well. Your rhinestone, because I do rhinestone shirts too, and it goes for your rhinestone. You need to let them know how to care for those things as well.
Yes.
Because the stones will come off if you don't take care of your product.
Yes.
So you have to be careful with all of that. And believe it, sublimation is the same way, because I actually have some cups that they're peeling. And why is that? You were told they don't, it doesn't peel off, but it does peel off. So,
but that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing the sublimation, because when I did sublimation shirts and I was testing them out, when you first press the shirt, and it could be that maybe it's my machine and the ink I was using. When I first pressed the shirt, the colors were very vibrant. They looked really nice. Put them through the wash and dryer, and then I noticed the colors started to fade, And to me, it wasn't good quality. So that's why I was like, this is just not something that I'm going to offer, because I am really, really strict about that. It's like everything that comes out of my shop, that talks about me. And it's not just talking about me when the person comes to pick up that item. That thing's going to be speaking about me for the life that person has that item, because I don't want them to come out and go, oh, she did a crappy job, or look, it comes off, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, I know embroidery is my thing. I know embroidery inside out. I'm going to stick with what I know. I know I'm good at it. you know, you'll know when you're confident enough. That's when I say step out, because you only get one time to make a first impression, and people talk. People talk. I mean, they may not say it in front of your face, but trust me, once they turn around, they get in their car, they're on their cell phone talking to their girlfriends or whatever, and they talking about you. Okay, so you want it to be in a positive way and stuff. So don't, if you're not sure, then keep practicing, keep practicing, keep practicing, and don't be you know, I mean, to me, I say there's two types of embroiderers. There's the folks that just like to do one type of embroidery. They just want to do a shirt and they just want to put a name on it or whatever, and that's fine. But when you get into custom embroidery, where you got to work with customers and they have different logos and you have digitizing, and then you're getting into different weight threads and different needle sizes and all that kind of stuff, that's where your expertise really got to be sharp, because no two projects that go through your door are going to be the same. None. Okay. So you got to know what you're doing. You got to know what stabilizers, what fabrics you're working on and all that kind of stuff. You got to test stitch and everything, because at the end of the day, once they pay you that money and they come to pick up that order, you got to make sure that stuff looks sharp.
And have some type of waiver. If somebody's dropping off an item for you to embroider on, let them know you cannot guarantee, because you're not purchasing that item wholesale to embroider on, because you know the blanks that you normally use, the items you normally purchase, and the quality of them. So make sure you have some type of waiver or form that they have to sign, letting them know that, hey, I can't guarantee this because I'm not supplying this particular item. I'm just putting embroidery or whatever you're doing on it. So that way, if something happens down the line, like, hey, you signed a waiver, you brought the item to me, you didn't want to use my shirt, you wanted to use yours, and that's the end result. But always have your policies, waivers, even if you have order forms or whatever, always have that stuff in place so it doesn't come back to bite you later on.
And you don't have to take every order that comes through your door. I mean, there have been lots of times where I tell a customer, nope, not touching that. I had a lady come with a Louis Vuitton. I said, oh, no. No.
That's a mistake.
Yes, she wanted her initials on the Louis Vuitton. I asked, I said, why would you do that? That devalues the bag. That devalues, you can't resell it, or even if you
could have got a fake one and let you put the initial on that one. Because I have embroidered on purses, but I guarantee you it was not a Louis Vuitton.
I had one that came with a Louis Vuitton, and I have some Louis. I'm like, no. I ain't touching that, because I know how much those bags cost.
Right. No. That's an expensive mistake to make if you made one.
Yeah,
exactly. I would be sick forever but you know, that depends upon. I personally would not take items for me. That's just how I am. Something that is over my budget. Yeah, if it's over my budget, you bring it to me. I'm not going to do it, because I don't want to be responsible for having to replace it. Yeah. Because if I mess it up, that's on me. And if I mess it up.
I've had customers even come to on the other end where they bring me the most cheapest shirts.
That too.
Okay. Where I know for a fact that
it's gonna look a hot mess when you get done with it. Yeah,
and it's gonna shrink after the first wash.
I had that situation too, where a person brought me. I mean, I don't even know what this mess was made out of, and they wanted it embroidered, and it wasn't. It was a relatively dense design as well. It's like, this is not going to work, and I wouldn't do it, because this person was difficult. Somebody's crying, laughing so hard they're crying.
Like I said, I'm honest, okay? I mean, I don't. It's just, no, I won't do it. I mean, they'll come to me with a shirt from Walmart that's so thin Then I'm like, are you kidding me? I probably have to put like 20 sheets of stabilizer to get this.
And then they're gonna see it. They're gonna see this big old placard across the chest because you got so much stabilizer on it, just so you can just so you can stitch it. So yeah, you have to. These are just
turn
things
down
that
the orders. If you're not, and even if I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I've even turned down orders because I don't even like the person. Because I'm serious, because you could always tell the attitude, you know what I'm saying? Like like they
you're not going to be able to please them.
It's going to be a problem.
You're not going to be able. That's a problem customer. I've had them too. You cannot please them and they want you to do it so they can come back and tell you they don't like it, so they don't have to pay for it. But
I don't tell them I don't like them. I don't tell them that. Okay, what I tell them is I'm just booked for the next 6 months, so I can't do it.
Oh my God, for the next 6 months.
You leave no wiggle room.
Exactly. Because you can always, you can tell a person's demeanor, personality, and stuff. I could already tell when people sometimes approach me, like the kind of questions they ask and everything. You could kind of tell, they're gonna wiggle the price.
They want to get over.
Or they want something for nothing, or you know what I'm saying. You could tell when they're trying to play.
I could tell through an email.
Exactly. Or they just want to waste your time. I'm like, I ain't got time for that kind of stuff. So I'm like, nope. I'm like, no.
Yeah, that is true. So it's some of everything.
Yeah. So when it comes to running a business, though, you got to think of all that. You're gonna sometimes run into some characters and stuff. You got to know how to handle it.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. I am so happy you ladies agreed to come on tonight. This has been absolutely wonderful. I've had so many people commenting about how awesome this is, how much they enjoyed this live tonight. I have enjoyed it as well. I'm so glad I got a chance to meet you, Sean. It's so wonderful. Let's not make this the last time.
Too. I gotta subscribe to your channel.
Yeah, and I subscribed to yours. You popped up when I was searching something, and I was like, "Oh, she's going live." And I caught some of your replays. I was like, "Oh, okay, I can rock with her."
Okay, tell the truth. Tell the truth. You said, "Damn, she could talk a lot." She
a hot mess just like me. I was like, "Hey, do your thing."
Now, you came on here and said you were an introvert. Now I know. Janette and I are not introverts. We did a live, just the two of us together, and we were cracking up the whole night. A lot of the people that watch me watch her. A lot of people that watch her watch me. So we kind of share an audience base anyway. So it was really, really wonderful. And thank you guys that watched Sean, that came on to support her, because you're supporting me as well. And I thank you and appreciate it. And if you don't mind, if you want to, please subscribe. It don't cost you nothing. And thumbs up, they're very important. And come back, check out my channel. I'm Shirley's Threadwork. I have some videos up there. Check out my channels. I have several lives. All of that. I do a live every Tuesday night, 8:00 Eastern Standard Time. And we talk about any and everything. And I take questions. Like I said, I support anybody that's out there that's doing their own thing, because we all need help. There's enough room out here for all of us. There's enough business out here for all of us. So nobody is stepping on anybody. We're not even in the same town. We ain't even in the same state. So we're not stepping on nobody's toes here. So, that's just the way I am. I do want to appreciate that. I'm looking at all of these names of people that I don't know. So I know these people. A lot of these people must be coming for you, Sean. So I do thank you so much for inviting them to come and watch, and for you all to come out and support her and support me. And we will be doing this again at some point, hopefully. And I don't want to hold them forever, because we've actually been on here 2.5 hours. I normally do it 2 hours. I'm doing one of your things, Janette.
I know. Well, everybody's like, Janette, we gotta go to sleep. What's up?
Well,
So
it's still only 7:30 here, so I'm good. It's still early on my end.
Oh, yeah. You said you came from the Midwest, Sean. We're in the Midwest.
Yeah, I'm originally from Wisconsin. I live in Las Vegas now.
Oh, okay. And I was in Las Vegas. I talked to her. What was that? That was Sunday. I talked to her on Sunday,
yeah.
And I said, "Well, I'm in Las Vegas." She said, "I wish I had known that. I'm in Las Vegas." She lives in Las Vegas. I didn't know that. So anyway. But yeah, this has been really nice. I'm happy with the way things turned out. I think we presented a lot of good information. People are saying they enjoy it. They got good stuff out of it. Somebody wanted us to do this all the time. We ain't doing it all the time. We have our own channel.
But you will see us in each other's chats and stuff like that, supporting each other.
Exactly. We do support each other. So again, this I don't see a lot of my social society people, but Leslie, you're on here. Robin, you're on here. Val, you were on here if you're still here. Becky, I'm canceling tomorrow night because I'm leaving Thursday. And I got to pack. I just got home from Vegas last night. Had to get up and go to work this morning. I got to go to work in the morning. And then Thursday, I'm flying out to New Orleans.
Okay, I want to be like busy. You when I grow up.
Child. I guess I'll wait until I got old as dirt to decide out. I used to fly around a lot, and I haven't done it in a while. But this is a little bit much. But right now, for these 2 weeks, I've been busy. So I decided, and I'm going to text all of you guys. Robin, spread the word for me. You're on here. Leslie, you're on here as well. Spread the word. I'm going to send out a text, but we're not going to meet tomorrow night. And keep in mind and remember, the reveal is next Tuesday. The reveal is next Tuesday. You guys come back. We will be showing you next Tuesday what we did, what the Social Society crew made and everything. Is going to be next Tuesday. I'll put that information up. And our topic for next week will be marketing made simple, how to get your embroidery seen. That's next Tuesday's presentation. And with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and say good night to everybody. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Janette. Let's do this again. Have a wonderful time. And all of you have a wonderfully blessed rest of your week. And all of y'all come back next week. Come back on here. Good night, everybody. I will talk to you guys later.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.